Adam Silver, we're going to stick with the NBA. The commissioner, Adam Silver, spoke today for the first time since returning from China. He was at the Time 100 Summit. And here, one of the things he said, we're about to hear it in a minute, but one of the things he said is that China actually wanted him to fire Daryl Morey. Here's Adam Silver.
We were being asked to fire him by the Chinese government, by the parties we dealt with, government and business. We said there's no chance that's happening. There's no chance we'll even discipline him.
All right, Rob, I'll let you go first. I've got some thoughts on this. What do you think about Adam Silver and this statement? Does this change anything about the way you've thought about how the NBA's handled this or not?
Not at all. Not one bit. The only reason they didn't fire him is the backlash they would have gotten in the United States. That they would have fired somebody for freedom of speech would have been, you want to talk about damage to the NBA and the way people would look at the league and chastise the commissioner? It would be suicide. Daryl Morey's not going anywhere because of what it would look like. They didn't do it because they were like, oh, no, we're standing up. They know that the blowback and the pushback would be damaging to the league. So that's why they did it. I'm not buying it for one moment. Like, they stood up to the Chinese. They had no choice in that. They did everything else they wanted to do when they kowtowed to them, but they knew they couldn't do that and come back home. So that's why Daryl still has his gig.
I was critical of the NBA. I felt like they were hypocritical on two points. Now, let me say this. I did think that Adam Silver's second statement was solid when he said that this is in China. When he said, number one, we are defending Daryl Morey's right to freedom of speech. And number two, when he said it's not our job to adjudicate how different countries run themselves and their political systems and so on and so forth. I thought the hypocrisy in that came in number one, when they stopped the players from talking. They cut off media access to the players. So you said you stand up for freedom of speech, but you cut off media access to the players over there. Now, the reports are saying that he did that to protect the players at the request of the players. I can get some of that because these guys, most of them probably had no idea what really is going on over there politically. However, what would have been better is if you just strongly stated to them, look, if you don't want to comment, do not comment. Just say, I'm only here to talk about basketball. These are grown men and they can speak for themselves. They need to, they're intelligent enough to just say, look, I don't want to comment on that. If you want to ask me basketball questions, go ahead. So I thought that was a bit hypocritical. And then when you say you can't, it's not your job to tell another country how to run its business. True. It's also not your job to tell a state in America how to run its stuff with North Carolina. You know what I'm talking about?
Thank you, Chris.
2017. So I agree with that. I think that stuff has been hypocritical. Here's what I'll say, though, Rob. It's relative, but I will say this. I do agree with Greg Popovich when he said that Adam Silver, for as flawed as you may say his dealings with China have been, he has done more than virtually all of these other American companies and President Donald Trump have done when it comes to dealing with China. My point is, they have kowtowed more than Adam Silver in the NBA. Marriott did fire an employee because China wanted him fired because he accidentally liked an Instagram post. And then they apologized to China. Apple was forced to take away an app that was helping Hong Kong protesters track Chinese police. They did that. And President Donald Trump told China that this was within the last few weeks. He told the Chinese president, we will not comment on the Hong Kong protests during trade talks. All of those three groups kowtowed to China more than Adam Silver. If indeed they did want Daryl Morey fired, now we can speculate as to why, and you certainly have a good point, but the fact is he didn't fire this employee. the fact is he did stand up for freedom of speech, and apparently they did sacrifice some money, whatever we're going to find out what that is going to be. So again, I've said there's been some hypocrisy there, but I will give Adams, I think he's shown more backbone than some of these other American companies that have dealt with China, and then Donald Trump is shown in dealing with China. So I'll give him that.
I will poo-poo your Kowtow meter, because I'm not buying into the Kowtow meter and giving Adam Silver any credit. The difference between the people you talked about, Chris, who got fired by those companies, nobody knows who they are.
Does that make it
yes,
better?
no, but
really?
No, but the difference is
that they still are American citizens who got fired.
But nobody knows who they are. They couldn't fire Daryl Morey if they wanted to, is my point. People
they
knew
could
who he
justify
was.
it.
It's easy for a company to fire people that they don't know.
He's lost them perhaps hundreds of millions
Doesn't
of dollars.
matter.
Tens of millions. You can justify. You do have people, Rob, in the media, very few and far between, who are saying Daryl Morey was wrong.
Chris,
very few, but you do hear that.
But
I'm just
you got to admit the difference of somebody who works at the Marriott who nobody knows getting fired.
Should he be fired?
No. But my point is, it's way easier for a company to do that. But
it's still wrong, Rob. What happened to right is right and wrong is wrong?
I'm not saying that, but my point is you're giving him credit for not firing a high-profile general manager of the Houston Rockets after a conflict with China. He couldn't do it even if he wanted to. He couldn't.
Oh, he could do it.
If he would have done it, if he would have done it, he wouldn't have been commissioner of the NBA.
Apple did their kowtowing publicly. Everybody knows that they took away the app that was helping the protesters track Chinese police.
I'm talking about putting a name in a face, Chris. It's different.
Donald Trump kowtowed publicly.
I'm telling you, I'm not going to give Adam Silver credit. That's just, I'm not. They mishandled this whole thing. It's a shame what went down, but I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, well, it's great that at least he didn't fire.
Did I say it was great?
No, you didn't say that. But even
he is kowtowed less than these American companies. We can't sit here and call out the NBA a freaking sports league.
Who said that? I didn't say that.
No. Calling out the NBA without calling out all these other people is hypocrisy. I ain't about hypocrisy.
You didn't hear me say that. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying I'm not going to give him the credit that you give him. That's all. Me and you, this is where we part and we disagree. You can say, oh, well, he didn't fire him and the other companies did. That's fine, Chris. The first statement, you know why he made 2 and 3 statements? Because the first one wasn't good enough. And it wasn't. And people didn't like it. So that's all I'm saying is
you don't know for a fact either. Now, I tend to
know for
agree.
A fact?
No.
Okay.
I tend to agree with you that he likely would have gotten fired had not there been this backlash, but we don't know that for a fact. We don't.
No, I don't know for a fact.
I think he would have because he's cost the league tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, who knows how much.
And you know, what did the owner say? He doesn't speak for our organization. The general manager, he doesn't speak. Right? I get it.
But I'm saying, have you heard a leader of Apple, a leader of Marriott, a leader of Tiffany and Company? We could go on and on. Even President Trump say we're standing up for freedom of speech against China. Has any of them done that?
I just think that when that situation...
There's a lot of gray. And I agree with you. There's been hypocrisy on the NBA's part.
Okay. All right. That's all I'm saying.
No, I started out my comment saying that. But I'm also saying, he kowtowed a little less. All right?
I told you.
He didn't get on his knees like the other companies.
Or he had knee pads.
He bowed.
He had
but
knee
he didn't
pads.
get down on his knees.
He had knee pads on instead when he went down. Sorry.
We can disagree, but you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I do. I'm
just saying there's a little bit of a difference.
Right.
That's all.
That's all. And I'm just saying my Kowtow meter is different from yours. That's all.
Well, do you think they should have just pulled out?
I thought they should have pulled out.
I thought they should have pulled out the games. And I'm not saying they got to pull out of China.
No, but they just.
But I'm saying they should have left. You guys are right. You guys are
upset.
Right.
this whole thing, we probably should redo this down the road where we can be on the same page. You know what I mean? Not leave in a huff and not be disrespectful. There's a way of bowing out to say, you guys are upset. You're not happy with what's going on. So we're going to go home and we'll do our thing there. That's all. That's what he could have done.
That would have been better for everybody involved.
Right. Then the players wouldn't have felt uncomfortable, right, Chris?
The thing here's
the media,
what it also,
the media that went went to cover that couldn't get quotes and whatnot. Nobody talks about that. You know, people are out there to do their jobs, and you handcuff them.
Here's the other thing it would have done. There are people saying, I don't think the NBA has leverage over China, right? If the NBA pulls out, I think China will move on, keep its money, and be fine. But there are those saying that China doesn't want to lose the NBA, that they do want it, that there is a little bit of leverage. They don't have the advantage leverage-wise, the NBA, but they do have some leverage. China really doesn't want to lose the NBA. The people over there love it. If Adam Silver had done what you and I said, but look, let's just let cooler heads, let's leave. We'll deal with this in a week or so. When cooler heads are prevailing, that would have perhaps made China, that would have put them on their heels a little bit more. Like, oh, he was willing to leave. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
Whereas now they feel like, well, he still played the games. We still have the upper hand. It's complicated. I'm just saying he hasn't bowed down as much as seemingly all these other American corporations. That's my point.
I get it. I just think it's easier to work in the dark. You know what I mean? When people don't know who you are. That's all I'm saying.
You are right in that if he would have caught flack, like Marriott, if people knew that.
Right, if they knew who the guy was.
Right. Big, maybe they would have caught flack. So I'll give you that. That's a little easier. But let's keep it real. Don't you think the NBA wishes that they got the small amount of coverage on this that Marriott and Apple got?
Right. No.
The NBA is like, look,
but the NBA's
we make that trade-off.
They're higher profile because when you see the pictures of the people, the small crowds, when LeBron and them showed up on their team, but you know what I mean, and stuff, it was like, wow. And then just the stuff and the rhetoric going back and forth, and they're taking down banners, and the story, all the advertisers pulled out, and and all that stuff, Chris, those stories were coming out, and it sounded like the NBA was taking a beating.
Well, let's hear Adam Silver quickly. He said that financially they're going to lose big money.
The losses have already been substantial. Our games are not back on the air in China as we speak, and we'll see what happens next.
Interesting. All right, 877-99 on Fox. Your turn to weigh in. Did Daryl Morey deserve to get fired? And has Adam Silver handled this situation correctly?
No. All right, Tony in Texas, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Tony?
I've been here. I was just going to tell you real quick. I won't take long. I just wish that they put you guys at 2:00, maybe in the future. But I was going to tell you, this situation is just like the NFL with Kaepernick. They had a problem. It wasn't because what he was doing. It was because it was costing them money.
It's always that.
No doubt.
It was costing them millions of dollars. And now it happened to the NBA, and now the NBA is like, whoa, wait a minute here. We're sorry to China. I mean, when you had Harden apologizing to a communist country,
That tells you all you need to know, Tony. Thank you. Because he didn't have to apologize for what?
I will say this. Adam Silver apparently is willing to have them lose who knows how many millions of dollars to stand by Daryl Morey. The NFL has not stood by Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, but there's only
I will say that.
I think that the repercussions in the United States if they fired Daryl Morey would be huge. It would be a blowback to that league. So I think that's why. And I'm not knocking him for it. I told you he wasn't going to get fired. I never thought for 1 second he was going to get fired. Andre in Massachusetts, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. Adam Silver's comments show clearly that the NBA is not on the same page in this entire China controversy. Adam Silver went one way, LeBron James went the other way. Listen, LeBron James' statements might have hurt him with the woke crowd, but from a business standpoint, he was spot on. Adam Silver's statements, okay, it's going to sound good with the woke crowd, but he's costing the NBA not millions, not tens of millions, billions of dollars. There's no question about it. 500 million Chinese people tuned in last year to watch NBA games, and Adam Silver, the commissioner of the league, now wants to escalate this feud with coming out with a statement. Rob, you're absolutely right. Right. Tillman Fertitta was furious with Daryl Morey's comments, and many reports that he wanted to discipline or fire Daryl Morey because Tillman and everybody else knows it's not the merits of his statement, it's the financial implications. That's why LeBron James, in my view, made his statement. He's talking about the NBA players who are saying, look, GMs are already preparing for a 15% drop in the salary cap next year. Who does that affect? It affects the NBA's business writ large. That's what we're talking about. And Adam Silver, who is a great commissioner, I am frankly surprised that he chose to be again in the woke crowd in principle when he knows full well.
Andre,
this is Andre. This is a great call.
Yeah, but
Andre makes a great statement. LeBron James and Tillman Fertitta are thinking about money.
They are.
That's what they're thinking. They are saying, hold up. This is costing us millions, if not billions.
Sometimes you have to sacrifice.
Adam Silver, right. Well, Adam Silver, and I'm not trying to paint him like he's, Martin Luther King. I'm just saying Adam Silver, to Andre's point, is saying I'm sticking by freedom of speech no matter, at least to this point, no matter how much it cost me and cost us. Now, remember, there was a story, Jack McCallum tweeted it a week ago, where 13 years ago he wrote a story about David Stern, the previous commissioner, and Stern admitted, look, the China problem is crazy. My wife's on me about it all the time. But my job is to make money for these owners. So I just have to do that. Now, Adam Silver has gone in a little different direction. And let's see if that gets kind of tense and kind of ugly. This is getting interesting. That's a good call.
I think it's a different world we live in. I think Stern could get away with that the same way
everybody else is getting away with it. Apple, Marriott, Tiffany, Donald Trump, they're all getting away with it.
Let me give you another example. It's the same thing that when Kobe had his rape trial, he flew on a team plane and played the entire time.
That's a different topic.
No, but I'm saying
that's a whole different topic.
I'm talking about
Rob.
Things have changed. You couldn't do that now.
You can't.
You couldn't do it now.
Right, but you can't point to anybody who is doing that now.
No.
I can point to other companies that are completely bowing to China.
I just think that I think it's different. Me and you disagree on that.
No, it's a different world. I agree with that.
That's my point.
Don't
it's a
tell me the
world.
NBA can't get away with it because all the other companies are getting away with it.
No, but they were getting away with it until there was a freedom of speech and the whole thing. They were getting away with it. We already know that. They were making money. They were having business dealings with China.
Right.
So they were.
All these companies aren't divesting from China?
No, nobody said they were. Nobody's telling the NBA
So why are you acting like they can't get away with it? Everybody's getting away with it.
You're not listening to what I'm saying. Let's go to the call. Mark in Sacramento. You're on the Odd Couple with Fox Sports Radio. You're not listening to what I'm saying. Go ahead, Mark.
Gentlemen, what's happening?
What's happening, man?
Real quick, on this topic, I called you guys last week and said this was about a trade war between China and the United States, and I'm glad you brought up some names that I would have brought up last week, Chris, and bringing up Donald Trump and some other people who haven't stood up as much as Stern did.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Silver.
Yeah, Silver. But I will say this, too. You're in China. Your product's in China. And that's probably the most communist country left on this earth. You better be careful what you say while you're there. That's why I told you guys last week, LeBron waited for a few days and thought about it because you just can't come out while you're there. That doesn't make sense. Not over there. Hey, Rob, they don't give a damn about us and our freedom of speech.
I agree with that.
That doesn't matter.
It was smart
that doesn't mean that
you wait till I got in the States to make a critical comment. LeBron didn't make a critical comment of China, though. That's the thing.
And what you call it Daryl Morey stood with the idea of democracy. He didn't rip China or tell them what to do.
Right.
That's not what he did. I don't understand what people are talking about.
A player over there The wisest thing to say over on their soil would have been like, no comment, in some way, shape, or form. Then when you get back safely in the United States, then you can make your comments. The thing is, LeBron was not critical of China. He was critical of Daryl Morey, which probably would have flown with them over there.
All right, Justin, in Virginia, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio.
Oh, yeah. How you doing?
Good.
What's up, man?
Yeah, I just want to say it's so crazy that China can do all of this after just one tweet from one person. Like, I think, who do they think they are? They're so powerful that they can just get rid of the NBA. Like, the NBA is a beloved league in our country. This is something we cherish, and then we're supposed to cow.
It's a communist nation. That's what they
man.
do.
They straight gangster.
That's how they run stuff.
You think these rappers gangster? No, these dudes are gangster.
15% of the money. Who cares about 15%? This is a beloved NBA.
All right,
you know
well,
what
what's the difference? All right, let's say, look, if a player's making $100 million, that means he's making $85 million. To a lot of these players, I agree with you that some of these guys are making so much that you can take a little hit. But then for the guy only making the guy that plays 3 years makes the league minimum. For him, it's a more significant hit. Hey, it's the Odd Couple. I'm Chris. He is Rob. And we want to encourage all of you to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
That's right. You can listen to us on the radio, and now you can watch us as well, and it's fun.
No question about it. And remember, oh, yeah!